I couldn't wait to ask you this. How you like One Piece?
I liked
I liked it.
I do too.
It was good. Not great.
Yeah.
Not great.
Okay.
But it was good. Right? It's not perfect. There's a bunch of things in there that I didn't love, but I do think it overall was good. I think I saw IGN give it like a 6. I'm like, that's a little low. I would maybe went 7.5.
Yeah.
I would made 8 is pushing it.
It's watchable.
It's definitely watchable. There are some choices that I wish they wouldn't have made or done different. And
character-wise or storyline-wise?
Storyline-wise. In some, and they made a bunch of changes. Well, yeah, they made a bunch of changes. Some I understand. Some I'm like, well, I guess. But so like Buggy being as major of a part as he was, where he was in the live action is not the same in the story. And I think the dude was cool. I don't know if he necessarily needed to be there. Obviously, One Piece is crazy. The animation is crazy. The art, the character models are weird, so it's hard to like translate some of that stuff. And some of the powers are hard to translate. So like Buggy's chop fruit didn't look the greatest, especially because they had a lot of scenes where it was just like just his head talking and it looked a little weird. I was like, all right, cool, whatever, I understand. And if you notice, a lot of the fights, and this is something they do on a lot of TV shows, a lot of the fights that they had where powers were being used would happen in a dark room or it's nighttime because to help mask some of the CGI stuff, but they do that on everything. The Fishman was cool. I didn't love them. I wish they'd I don't know, made them better. Honestly,
I make sure they made them better.
No, seriously, I like the design of it's like it's cool, but also at the same time, it's like if you look at what it is, like how do you make that look?
How you make a nigga with a saw nose and purple?
Well, make him look super good, and I think there could have been a way to do that better, right? But they just within their budget and the story and everything else they're trying to probably do, there's like, well, you gotta concede here so you can do something more here. So they probably spent more money on the CGI and less on the costuming, kind of shit like that, I would assume. I didn't love the Garp stuff. I like what was going on with him and Cody. I just in the manga anime, that reveal happens way, way, way later, and I wish it wouldn't have happened.
Oh, they rushed mad shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was like, whatever, and I get. Same thing with when they got to Arlong Park, there was no the octopus, Hayachi, the octopus dude. Yeah, which I understand because that would be super hard to do. Like he got 4 fucking arms or whatever. but the character, I mean, but it would look so dumb probably. Maybe not. I don't know. But that was a choice. But that character plays a major part later on in the story, so it's kind of like, all right, he's not here. But I mean, you can still probably just introduce him fresh and go from there. I think Sanji was good. I think Zoro was good.
This is the best thing about the shit. Honestly.
Yeah, Zoro and Sanji. I like Luffy. I liked him. I didn't love him. I
got to find the One Piece.
Yeah. I also found it weird that
is he Indian?
No, like
Brazilian
Spanish or something.
Something like
Spanish
that.
Some nature. I also found it weird that he has a stronger accent than Child him. And I was like, as a kid, it's like that kid don't even really got no damn accent. Like, where did he just grow an accent from? It's also jarring that he's got like a Spanish accent and Garp is like Scottish or some shit like that. I was like, okay, that's
hey, don't ask questions.
Well, but I know he wasn't really raised by his grand. He grew up wherever he grew up, and all that kind of shit. So I mean, whatever.
They didn't show Monkey D. Dragon yet, right?
No, not at all. Not, at least I missed it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was good. Not great, but it was good. Like, I think it was good. I think it's definitely watchable. Out of the live action animation stuff, anime stuff specifically, I would say that off the top that I could say that's not maybe made from Japan is probably the best thing I've seen. Better than Cowboy Bebop and Death Note.
1,000%. 100,000%.
That was my question that I was going to ask you, if it was like the best out of all the live action.
I mean, I don't know
Netflix had done?
Netflix had done,
Netflix has done, definitely. I mean, I think there might be some Rurouni Kenshins out there that are supposed to be pretty good that I've never seen. So I don't know if it's the best live action adaptation of a manga / anime, but I think out of the handful that I've seen, and especially probably when Netflix has done this is probably definitely the best effort.
Copy.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you haven't seen it, I would suggest, if you like the show or interested and you have seen at least the first part of the show, I would suggest watching it. Obviously, if you are a fan of it, you're gonna probably enjoy it a little bit more than just coming off the street. But if you're just coming off the street, I still think there's some merit there. There's some stuff there. Yeah.
Okay.
Nami was good too. I think she did a good job.
Yeah, I like Nami. Okay.
Usopp was about to get some buns. I was like, all right, they changed that up.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, I'm not mad at the character choices.
yeah, no, I think, and again, and if you watch any news and all that stuff, they said Oda was heavily involved in this, and he even made them like go back and reshoot a bunch of shit just because he was like, no, this ain't right. So it's like you could, and I think, and you could tell. So it's like when you're drawing something in manga, there's not a lot of dialogue because the more dialogue you put in a manga, the less space you have to draw actual characters. So when you're translating that, there's not really a lot of conversation between a lot of people. I mean, they have conversations, but it's not a lot, especially for something like One Piece. Now, some other mangas probably, just because of the nature of the story, and then you get that translated over to anime, and it's like, okay, you get the flash and the glitz, but then it's like, all right, but this is a TV show, so you gotta there's gotta be backstory, and people's gotta have motivations, and it's gotta make sense, and you gotta do yada 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 yada. So it was like that, and also like they switched races of some characters and stuff like that, but it made sense for some of them. Like with Nami and her sister, it was like, okay, but they're both adopted, so who cares?
Yeah,
and she was also kind of darker than her in the anime, but she wasn't like I mean, I guess she could have been black. I guess you could call that, but she was definitely darker. But it makes sense because they're not like biologically sisters. So it's like, okay, that's cool doing that. I didn't like what they did with Helmeppo. That bothered me a little bit, only because I know Helmeppo is a joke character. And this is something that I didn't even know was going to bother me until I watched it. It's like, oh, that's weird. I actually kind of have like a little bit of a feeling about that because Hellbumper is like, he's my favorite character and all like that. But like, I think he does have like a character arc and journey that I think was better served, at least to me. And time will tell, I guess, if this gets another season or two, how that actually develops. That was better to me in the manga anime, just because like his dad was like, Captain Morgan was a corrupt military agent, and then his dad didn't give a fuck about him, and then but he was a spoiled brat. But then it was like his dad got free from Garp, and then it was like, I'm gonna go arrest my dad. And his dad was like, I'm gonna kill you, use a hostage. And then it's like basically he's using that as like, I want to prove that I'm better than my dad type of shit. And then him and Cody by themselves got selected by Garp, and Garp trained them. And it was like different. It's like, okay, they're all part of like just like it's a group of academy students that Garp just picked up, and he's like, all right, y'all. But obviously the way it ended, it made it seem like, okay, I'm about to really take y'all two under my wing right now. And obviously that's going to play into shit later, but I fucks with it.
Okay, so what do you give it personally? 1 out of 10 rating. IGN gave it like a 7.
They gave it a 6.
A 6,
They gave it a 6, which I feel is really low.
Yeah.
And I think, and this is a week for them where I think they were scoring stuff lower than I
they hated on everything.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
the thing about IGN.
they wasn't always like that, but I this week, I mean, and again, maybe it's just because I'm biased, right? So
Yeah.
But it's fair though. They got to stop giving like straight solid 7s. They got to put a 7.5 or something like that.
Yeah. They used to back then.
They gotta start doing that.
They change their scale around all the time, and also I understand because this is one of those things where if you listen to most or probably all video game journalists speak, they hate the fact that they have to put numbers on their reviews because most people don't really read the review. They just go straight to the number, or maybe a little small, if it has a breakdown, a small breakdown, they don't really read the review. And in the review is the nuance of why they gave it the score that they gave it. So it's like, all right, yeah, I gave it a 6, but did you read why I gave it a 6? Because if you read it, maybe there's a real reason in there, and if you read it, you'd understand that.
I don't read none of shit. I played a video.
Exactly.
You don't
tell me. Different.
Well, I don't know if they still do this. What they used to do is they used to give the pros and the cons and why they gave it.
No, I think they stopped doing that.
They stopped. See, you got to go back to doing that. That's what I like.
Yeah.
At least I know what you hated about it, what you loved about it.
Exactly. Or like a bullet point of it. It's obviously not the full detail of what they probably wrote out, but yeah, that's what they hate that because most people just condense it down to the number, and then sometimes even for them, the number doesn't mean like it's like a 7 doesn't mean it's something bad, right? It just means it's not as good as some these other things, but most people will look at a 7 or even 6 and be like, "Oh, I can't even touch it."
Nah, 6 is like,
it's like it's close, and it's like, all right, it's borderline. You might like,
6 is like somebody gotta let me borrow this.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe not. But and that's their point. It's like people. I think, hold too religiously to that number sometimes, where it's like it prevents them from maybe giving something a shot they could just give a shot, and they would actually end up liking. So I think that they teeter on not really enjoying the fact that they have to put numbers on stuff all the time. But I would give this, off of only one watch through, I'd say about 7.5.
Yeah.
How many episodes they have?
It's 8 episodes.
8 episodes? Okay.
And they make it all the way through Arlong Park.
Yeah.
And I guess they're going to be heading to the Red Line is probably where they're going to be going next. But yeah, it's good, man. Again, not great.
It's not
It's
great.
not perfect. Don't expect like, oh, this is some life-altering shit. But like, again, especially knowing what One Piece is, and just knowing, and the other thing is, it only gets worse from here. Like things only get goofier and crazier. Character design.
They didn't body slam the lion, man.
There was no lion. They got rid of the lion.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything with the dog and the mayor, like all that kind of stuff that was there. I mean, they cut out a lot of Usopp. Like they changed Usopp shit around where it wasn't like, okay, they were attacking the village. It was just like they didn't have Michael Jackson. The hypnotizing dude. He wasn't there. Again, he shows up later, but it was just like, okay, Kuro is just there, and he has the two dudes that, and they gender swap one of them that Zoro fought, and they were just basically working with him. It wasn't like his whole crew was attacking the village type of shit. They're gonna switch that around. They killed Mary, which I was like, oh shit, they really killed him. I was like, that's different. I was like, damn, because in the anime he didn't die. But yeah, so yeah, it's good though. 7.5 though. I'll definitely say 7.5.
I've been telling y'all niggas, Hesh opinion's the only one that matters. If Hesh get his shit a certain score, I'm like, all right, I fuck with it. I watched. I started episode 3, and then I left it on. I think my daughter watching it right now, so by the time I get home, it might be
Probably
done.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and I was gonna, and at first I was like, I'm gonna watch this, and I'm gonna try to just be as objective as possible, because I do like the show, right? But I was like, if it's bad, it's bad.
It's bad.
And I was like, you know what? This is not bad. I don't love everything about this, but I do think
it has some redeeming qualities.
yeah,
Exactly.
I do think they did. I mean, could they have maybe made it a little better? Possibly, sure, right? But I do think with what they had to work with, I do think they probably did close to the best they could do. Maybe could they tweak a few things here and there and we'll make it a little bit better? Yeah. But that's what second seasons are for too as well.
Yeah.
If they get a second season, it's like, okay, this didn't work, this didn't work, this didn't work. Or we didn't love how this was received. So when we come back, we're going to do this. We're going to tweak this. We saw how they reacted to how we changed stuff here. Okay, so maybe when we change stuff, maybe we'll do this way and then that way. And there's also stuff that they added that's mentioned but not seen. So like when Zoro was fighting Mr. Seven from Baroque Works, that's something that's mentioned in the manga and anime that's not seen, like, because before he joined with Luffy, he was a pirate hunter, and it also was mentioned in the manga that they tried to recruit me to Baroque Works, but it's not like you don't see that in the anime.
That's
manga.
what that was.
Yeah, he works at Baroque. That's where Bon Clay and all the other
yeah.
the Mr. Seven.
They shouldn't have said number 7.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's cool. That's a little context, and that also introduced Baroque Works to you sooner. Or gets it in your mind, so if they do get another season, it's like, okay, when the organization does show up later, which I would assume is probably going to be next season if they do that, if my brain is connecting the dots right. Cool. And now you have a little bit more content. Like, even if you don't know what the organization is, it's like, they mentioned that. They talked about that. They fucking had Nami reading the Nolan story to Zoro when he was laid up, and that plays and then when they get for Sky P shit. So like it's like little things that sprinkle out. If you look at when they was looking at the Warner posters, they had like a poster for like Cavendish was up there, and then I think Bellamy was up there. So it's like, again, sprinkling shit for things that you'll see later on. That it's just like a quick little we saw it or you didn't, and then but then when you get the later, it's like, okay, the world is populated with these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, 7.5.
See, that nigga ain't forget how to pod, man. That nigga Hesh is here, yo.